Okay, welcome back to Might and Magic 6, Mandate of Heaven. So, I've played about, I would guess, 5 hours more afterwards. And I can say that I'm not really addicted to it in the same way as the last few games. It's really a different genre, to be honest. This is no longer a blobber like the last 5 games. This is now an open world party based I guess action RPG. I mean, it does allow turn based, but it's not a blobber because from what I understand, a blobber has to be strictly turn-based in the movement as well. So being able to just freely move around like this, it really becomes more akin to Morrowind. And you wouldn't call Morrowind a blobber, even though you're going through dungeons and all that sort of stuff. It's basically just a party-based Morrowind. And I'm not trying to say that it's a bad game or anything like that. It's just not in the same genre as the other Might and Magic games. And I think what that means for me is that, you know, the other ones had a really kind of unique value to me looking at them now, because there isn't really much like those games nowadays. Not a whole lot. Whereas games like this, you know, games like Morrowind and like Skyrim, there's quite a few. I mean, open world RPGs are pretty common. For the time, sure. I mean, this was pretty big. I mean, it was a pretty cool thing. But I think, funnily enough, I think that this game shows its age a bit more than, say, Might and Magic 4 and 5 do. Just because, for me, I have so much more now that I can compare this game to. And there isn't a whole lot, I would say, that this game now does better than I could experience on Skyrim. Whereas, you know, Might and Magic 5, I can't experience that in almost any other game that I've played. It was really its own cool, unique thing. So I think it's, you can see also we have mouse look going on and WASD now, thanks to the gray face patch. And so yeah, what this game has going for it, I would say, you know, the music and the atmosphere and stuff, it is really charming. It's other people have described like the starting town here as like going on a vacation. And yeah, there is sort of just a nice atmosphere to parts of this game. And then you go into dungeons and that all really collapses. Because the dungeons are one of the big problems, I would say, with this game. Other things, the fact that it is a party-based game, that is not common anymore. You know, everything has kind of gotten shrunk down to just one player character, and you might have some companions that fight alongside you, usually that you don't control. But having in a party multiple characters that you control, but even though you're moving around as like an individual like this, that's pretty uncommon now. And I do think that's cool. I mean, that is Might and Magic, for sure. But that is only really cool when it comes, you know, it only really matters for combat, for the main part. And combat is, this is the first game in the series now where I can tell you that combat feels like a slog. Combat to me in this game is not satisfying and not really entertaining. So why don't we go... Oh, right over here is the abandoned temple. Okay. And I've cleared out part of this, but not all of it. And this will be pretty good to demonstrate kind of what I'm talking about. So let's start by putting on Wizard Eye and Torchlight, so we can see. Okay, so we're in the abandoned temple, and we start going down this long corridor. Now, keep in mind, I've cleared out all of this so far. Okay. Yep. Yep. And here's a chest that continually spits out sparks. So that's kind of cool. But we looted that. And we keep going. Yeah, I mean, I hope you're getting the hint by now of what I'm trying to say. I don't even know what direction I went. I don't remember. Yep. Oh no, the teleporter. That's right, I did this, and then I got sent back. That's right, so I did that branch. Now, while I'm continually going through these extremely similar looking tunnels over and over for miles, keep in mind, and this is the key point. There you go. Keep in mind that this dungeon has been filled with hundreds of bats, snakes, and spiders. And here we go. So here's another one. We'll go turn-based. And this is essentially the combat. This is a way to do combat, I should say. Not necessarily the most optimal. Because, really, if you want to be optimal, what you should do is pretty much entirely use ranged attacks. So keep sniping, and then once they get close, then you can turn and burn. And they'll follow, and then you go turn-based again. And then become a turret. And there you go. There's your Might and Magic 6 combat. And rinse and repeat for hundreds of enemies. There are so many fucking monsters that you have to fight in this game that it's just kind of disgusting. It makes me a little ill to even think about it. And so, like I said, the optimal strategy whoop, is 4 characters all using bows. And then just doing stuff like this. Over and over. And you couldn't do that in the last 5 games. You know, you had bows in the last few, but there was no way to like kite or anything like that. You had to just you got some shots in, you know, a few shots in before the monsters got to you, but they always would get to you. Okay, so, you know, and then you don't have to go in turn-based, even though it's better. And with WASD and mouse look, it really just becomes like an extremely janky first-person shooter. You're sniping snakes with your bows that you rapid fire. And then, fuck. If you go turn-based, then you just become like a turret, you know?
I don't know. Ah, aha! Ah, ah.
And that's it. It's just more of that. Just more of that over and over. As many enemies as you possibly can fathom. Over and over. And yeah, I mean, you know, the open world aspect is fun. Getting quests and all that is fun. Random loot is fun. But the combat has to be somewhat gripping to me. And it's funny to think that, you know, like Might and Magic 3 combat is gripping, but it is. And really, it's not a slog. There's not that many enemies that you ever have to fight. Sometimes, like, you know, you go into a dungeon and there's just like 30 enemies you gotta clear. But even still, you know, it goes fast enough that it's not a slog. And yeah, there's also tough enemies that you have to fight that you have to think about and try and, you know, persevere. Like bosses sometimes and things like that. But, the trash is usually simple enough. And there's not that much of it. Now, funnily enough, apparently this game is sort of a reversal of of Might and Magic 4 and 5, because in this game you want magic. Magic is the way to go. And in fact, it sounds like the most popular party composition, or the most optimal, is 3 sorcerers and a cleric. Fuck. Which is wildly different than the last game, where, you know, physical damage was king. And yeah, I mean, I haven't really used the guide much at all. I've looked at a few discussions, but I haven't, like, you know, I didn't restart or anything like that. But if you don't look up anything, you don't use a guide, it does really feel like I said, where like every decision I'm making with my characters just feels wrong. It just feels bad. And I did make a lot of shitty decisions Like, apparently diplomacy is useless, perception is useless. Fucking Christ. It's terrifying. Yeah, that was the queen, actually. So, you know, there are nice things about the game. There are positive elements, like I said, but there's not enough here. There's not enough positive for me to overlook just the slog of combat through hundreds of the same types of enemies over and over, through these labyrinthine mega dungeons and stuff. And I just am not, like, addicted enough to keep playing.
Got another.
And it's not like 6 is the end-all be-all of the series. A lot of people do like 3, and a lot of people do like 4 and 5, and a lot of people do like 7. And from the sound of it, even 8 has a decent number of fans. After that, I guess the series kind of falls off. We will see for ourselves about that. And I guess there's also a merge mod that's kind of like World of Zine, where it combines 6, 7, and 8 into one game and uses the Might and Magic 8 engine to... and I guess a lot of people recommend that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so,
Aha!
you know, what else is there to really say?
No. Ah.
Obviously, I haven't played a heck of a lot of the game, so I can't say too much. And I know that you get Lloyd's Beacon again as a spell, you get Town Portal as a spell, things like that. You get Fly, which makes slogging through a dungeon like this a little less tedious. I would be able to just Lloyd's Beacon back to town or something, but yeah, I don't know what's really going to become of the combat to make me change my mind. I mean, bottom line is, like, all I can say is this. Regardless of, like, what my expectations were for the game and what other people's thoughts are in the game, blah, 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 I would rather go back and, like, finish Might and Magic 3. You know? Boom. Yeah, you can see how spells would be potentially pretty damn powerful.
Got him.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, it just begs the question, really, of why would I choose to play this over, like, heavily modded Skyrim, you know, which I still... I mean, Skyrim, I play every once in a while, but there's still so many locations in that game that I've never gone into. You know, there's so much undiscovered stuff in that game for me, because I haven't played it for, like, thousands of hours or anything. Or, fuck, go back to Oblivion. Like, I remember nothing of that game. And like it or not, I mean, Oblivion is just a more fun experience, I feel. But, you know, that's my opinion, obviously. So, this game has plenty of fans. Well, I don't know about plenty. It's not exactly a super popular franchise. But, you know, within the community, it's definitely seems like the most popular one. I mean, this is it. This is what I have done to clear out every dungeon so far. And yes, maybe if you keep playing, get stronger, get more powerful, the gameplay loop kind of changes a little bit, and you're not just gunning everything down with bows. But I don't know. You know, who's to say? Great. What do you know, man? Okay, and then... I don't know, I feel like I uncovered a lot of it. I got the heart. I didn't rescue Angela, though. Fuck. Yeah, we should rest. Oh, they're diseased. Great. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of doubt Might and Magic 8 is going to change anything too drastically to make me change my mind about stuff. I think the fact that you can merge together 7, 8, and 9, or 6, 7, and 8 all together probably indicates... Where the fuck was Angela?
You over there.
Oh, jeez. Scared the shit out of me. Well, why am I bouncing up there? Did I rescue her? Is that done? Are we good? This is creepy. Oh, I found an axe. And a ring. And gold. And a ring. Okay. And then I almost died. Because I was trapped. Well, you just rest again in the middle of the dungeon and then you move on. Okay, I guess that's good. And now we begin the very long walk back. Great. Yeah. And I think visually, graphically, like I said, I don't like this sort of era of 3D. You know, these monotonous, you know, textures and all this. The character portraits, the 3D models. None of it really appeals to me the same way that, like, old school sprite work does. So it's got that going against it as well. I think it makes sense overall, the game as an evolution. You know, at the time, this is probably what most people were, you know, excited to see. I guarantee, though, that probably at the time, there were people lamenting the loss of the blobber. Okay, so we need to go Buford T. Allman and Violet Dawson. They're around here somewhere.
Hello.
Here you go. What a gruesome trophy. This heart proves you defeated the wicked Spider Queen. Awesome.
Hello.
She's alive. Thank you so much for finding Angela. Okay.
Can we assist you? Luck be with you.
Oh yeah, now the temple heals your health and spell points to full. And, like, doesn't take any time whatsoever. It's not like... it. In Might and Magic 4 and 5, going into the temple took an entire day. And then each person that you would heal using the temple, that would also be another day. Ridiculous. I did see there's like a kind of like a remix mod for Might and Magic 4 and 5. Yeah, I think it's for 4 and 5. That like balances a lot of things, changes a lot of monster stats and stuff, makes it harder, and then adjusts some things like that with the time. So, you know, going into a temple or something takes like an hour instead of a day. So that would be probably fun to go back to at some point. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Closed.
Looking for a weapon?
I mean, I could keep going. Master Cutlass Wizards. Plus 11 attack, 2d4 plus 11 damage, plus 5 intellect and personality. Wow. That seems pretty insane. Am I crazy, or does that seem pretty high end for this point in the game? I got this Pirate Cutlass plus 5, and I thought that was pretty good. But I didn't know shit for dick.
Looking for a weapon? Closed.
Why are you... I have to wait till 8 a.m. for this one.
Can I help you find anything?
She's a late starter. Cold resistance plus 1. Oh boy. Oh yeah, and then you gotta always transfer stuff to your merchant character, because they get the best prices on everything. Normally 285 gold. For her, 535 gold. It's like, of course I'm gonna buy that, sell that through the merchant.
Thanks. Come in.
Oh yeah, and I got the Cobra eggs. Hold on. That's like this guy.
Hi.
Cobra egg. Here's my payment for this wonderful egg. Nice. Got over 10,000 gold now. Time to put it in the bank and work for 70 years. No, I don't know if that,
I don't know.
I don't know if that works anymore.
I don't know.
No, you don't. yeah, I don't know what else there is to really say about the game, because I haven't experienced that whole a whole lot, but I don't have much interest in experiencing a whole lot more.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine. And maybe I overhyped it a little bit in my own head because, everyone said, oh, this is the best Might and Magic. This is the best one. Doesn't get better than this. And it's like, are you sure? Are you sure it doesn't get better than this? I mean, from this point, maybe it doesn't get better than this, but I don't. Different strokes for different folks. There are probably absolutely people that maybe they started with 6 or something like that, or they started with 7, and they just can't get into like the old style blobbers. And like, of course, this game is way better than those. You can do so much more, and it's a big open world, and you got 3D movement, and it's not old and clunky. Except this is old and clunky, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it off here. It's a pretty short video. I just felt I needed to kind of get my thoughts out there before we move on. Like I said, it has a certain charm to it when you're just above ground and roaming the world. But then if I keep roaming, I'm gonna bump into like 300 lizard men or something that I have to slowly clear out by sniping them for decades with arrows. So, yeah, that sort of ruins the charm a little bit. So we're gonna move on, and I believe next is actually Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which came out in 1999, the following year. I also didn't really mention it, but we did skip over another zine game called Swords of Zine, which began its life years and years ago as a mod based on the Might and Magic 5 engine. But then they started collaborating with New World Computing, and New World Computing actually published it officially. So I actually got it as part of my collection on GOG. And I skipped over it. I read some thoughts on it, some discussions about it. It seems like that if you like Might and Magic 4 and 5, you're probably gonna like Swords of Zine because it's just more of the same. But it's got some like fun additions and stuff. But also, from what I read, it seems pretty buggy. It's one of those things where you're gonna want to save constantly because a game-breaking bug might just soft lock you or something like that. I'm not quite sure. It didn't sound quite as stable. So I skipped over it because I wanted to move on and get to Might and Magic 6 and beyond. But yeah, it might be worth looking into at some point. Except I don't know if it's supported by Where Are We? So that hurts it. But anyways, we're going to move on to Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which came out the following year. And then after that, it's Might and Magic 7, which also came out in 1999. So a banner year for New World Computing for sure. But compare the, say, what was that, like 5-year development time of Might and Magic 6 to the 1-year development time of Might and Magic 7. Yeah, it's going to be pretty similar. It's going to be a pretty similar game to this. And then Might and Magic 8 the following year in 2000. So, all built on the same engine, of course. Well, actually, no. I mean, Might and Magic 8, I guess, is a different engine. Sort of. I guess it's like a updated engine. I'm getting ahead of myself. So, yeah, anyways. My name is Mangg. Game watching has been Might and Magic 6, The Mandate of Heaven. And I'll see you fine folks in Heroes of Might and Magic 3.